Hi, my name is Fatty with Major Medical. In this video, we're going to go over some common issues you might have with your concentrator and Homefill system and give you some troubleshooting tips to help you deal with those issues if they happen to arise. So first thing we're going to go over is what happens when you actually turn your machine on. What's going to happen when you flip the switch is all three indicator lights are going to come on and you're going to hear that sustained alarm beep, which is going to signify that your alarm is actually functioning properly. The first type of alarm we're going to go over is the alarm that will sound if you have some sort of flow issue with the machine. For example, kink tubing, or the flow meter is set to the wrong place, wrong setting, or your filters need changed, your back filters need changed or washed. So if you actually have a kink in your tubing, an alarm will sound. It's going to be a fast, intermittent beep. So as you can hear, it's a fast, intermittent beep, and that's the alarm that's going to indicate that you have some kind of flow issue. Some other reasons why you might hear that same alarm are that your flow meter is set to the wrong place. If it goes down under 1 or up above 5, you'll hear that same alarm that you just heard when your tubing was kinked. Another issue, or another thing you might want to check, are that your filters are nice and clean. So you just take one of these, take this out, rinse it in warm water, no soap. You can put it back damp, just not soak them wet. And as you can see, they just stuff right back in there. So just to recap, if you do hear that quick intermittent beep, you want to check a few things to just make sure that your flow is correct. So make sure that this is on 2 and not not below 1 or above 5. Make sure that your tubing is not kinked anywhere. So just run along the line of your tube and make sure that it's free of any kinks. And finally, make sure that your filters are clean and in the correct place. So the second alarm that you might come across that you need to know about is the alarm that sounds if you lose power to the machine. So if I unplug it while the machine is still on, you'll hear a slow intermittent beep. Sounds kind of like a smoke detector. If that's the case, just make sure that your machine is plugged directly into the wall. The last alarm that we're going to talk about is the alarm that will go off if there is a more serious issue with your machine, like some kind of internal problem that you might have. If that does happen, you probably will have to bring the machine back into the office so that we can exchange it or service it. If the beep that you're going to hear is going to be similar to the sustained beep that you hear when you first turn on the machine, except it's going to keep going, and you most likely are going to have this red light indicating that there is a serious problem with your machine. A couple of things that it could be is your filter, your inner filter needs changed. So this is what your filter looks like when it gets really dirty. And this is what a brand new filter is going to look like after it's been replaced. But that is something that we'll take care of here in the office when you bring your machine in. You will not have access to the back of the machine to change those filters out. The other reason why you might hear that same alarm is that your machine is overheating. In that case, if that is the problem, you'll know that it is because you'll feel that the concentrator is warm or hot to the touch. If it is warm or hot to the touch, what you want to do is just make sure that your machine does have 6 inches of ventilation all the way around it. And if you continue to have problems, maybe move it to a more ventilated area or slide a piece of cardboard under your machine, especially if you have some thick carpeting in your home. So the next thing we're going to go over are some problems you might come across when you're actually filling your tanks or trying to fill your tanks. So we're going to move on past the concentrator. It's still going to be involved a bit, and go on to talk about the home fill and your tank. and how you're going to fill it correctly. We're not going to go into too much detail as to how to fill your tank, just some things that you need to double check just to make sure that you're doing it properly. Really, there's only two major issues that you can have when you're filling your tanks that you can take care of yourself. The first issue that you might come across is that your tanks are not filling, and that could be due to a couple of things. The first thing you want to double check is that you're actually doing things in the correct order that we told you. So remember our easy 3-step process. Always turn on the bottom machine first. Make sure that your green light is on and that your flow meter is set to 2. Put your tank on, that's going to be step 2, and turn on the top machine. That's step 3. So always do things in that order. 1, 2, 3. So a few other quick things you can check if your tanks are not filling correctly. Number 1, make sure that your tank is completely closed. So just make sure that this is turned all the way clockwise before you put your tank on. Also make sure that the flow meter is set to the correct setting. So make sure it's on 2. We'll cut that ball right in half. And the third thing is just make sure that your supply hose is properly connected on both ends. Both here at the Homefill and down here at the connection to the concentrator. And that's pretty much it. The last troubleshooting tip that we have for you today is if you are having issues filling your tanks and you look up here and you see that this yellow O2 below normal light has come on, or if it's on and it's going back and forth between filling and O2 below normal, just kind of back and forth, then one thing that it might be is that you have too much pressure built up in your Homefill. There is a way to solve that problem, and all you really have to do is just turn off your machine here, and then you're going to bleed out the Homefill by pushing down or pulling down on this coupling and keep pulling down. You'll see that the tank is going to bounce. So when it's not bouncing so violently, then you know you're ready to fill again. You can go ahead and make sure your tank is on properly and turn on your machine. And that should solve that issue, and your tank should start filling correctly after that. Those are all the troubleshooting tips we have for you today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or you need some help troubleshooting, you can always give us a call. We're available 24/7 to help you over the phone. I'm Fatty with Major Medical. Thank you and have a good day.